Okay, Mr. Producer, let's talk about the way the government really rips off the American man. Us American taxpayer always getting ripped. They ain't taxing and regulating the hell out of us. They're pulling us over for a DUI or an open bottle. After all my years of experience dealing with these Nazis, policemen with DUIs, I finally got one myself. And the way I got it was one of the biggest rapings I ever had. I had this wild idea about going out west to the Black Hills and sleeping in my vehicle and taking my nightly concoction of pharmaceuticals to go to sleep with. And I'm diabetic, so I take a lot of medicine for diabetes and sleeping pills, and of course my favorite drink, the brandy. Just recline the chair, and I camped the first night that way and tried being friendly with some campers. They were unfriendly people. I know they set me up because I went back to their camp the next night and they said they had the sites that were open. They said they had family coming and they didn't want me around. So rather than arguing with them, I just went up the trail and pulled around on a turnaround and took my brandy and listened to country music on the XM radio. And next thing I know, it was 2-3 in the morning. Some county sheriff is pulling me out of the car, handcuffing me, arresting me for a DUI. And I know it was that unfriendly family in the campground that set me up with that. I ain't quite sure how they did it because I had no phone service in that remote part of the hills, the most remote part of the Black Hills there is. Anyway, they're way overboard on this Nazi DUI enforcement. Way overboard. And 08 is too low. That was extortion about 20 years ago when Minnesota used to have a 10.01 blood alcohol content, and then they told the states that they'd hold back federal funding on the freeways and interstates if they didn't all conform to 08. 08's too low. So I got an 09. So 20 years ago I would have gotten a DUI, but I'm facing one now. And my first DUI, and I'm almost 60 years old. And way overboard. A lot different than my dad's day. My dad's day, he'd come home every night, staggering home about 11 in the morning, 11 in the evening. His only sober day was a Sunday. He had to take the Sabbath and keep that holy. And whenever we had a big snowstorm, we'd have to go after him, and he'd be stuck in the snow, going to snow to snow to snow. And drinking and driving and trespassing was a way of life that I grew up with. But this modern day, with their heavy enforcement of DUIs and open bottles, is just brutal and costly to us American working taxpayers. Just like to go to a beer tavern and have a few drinks and relax. But to get one for sleeping in your vehicle, all I was trying to do was get a good night's sleep. And now I'm facing a DUI, and I'm not too happy about it. 2.5 hours of riding every back trail through the Black Hills with handcuffs on you. Damn cop wouldn't let me go to the bathroom, so I went in a squad car. Piss on him. That's my thought. Anyway, I called him some choice words. So I gotta face a choice judge here coming up. And anyway, we're gonna put a song to it. We're gonna put John Anderson's "When You Get on the Whiskey, Let Somebody Else Drive."
Heard it on the radio and 6 o'clock news. Said you better not drive when you get on the booze. The sheriff was on TV, shaking his hand. Said we're really cracking down, you better understand. When you get on the whiskey,
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 when you get on the whiskey, let somebody else drive. Started drinking on Friday, and by Saturday night they had me blowing through a tube, charged with DUI. Cuffed and booked and thrown in a cell. I was telling sober up and telling myself, when you get on the whiskey,
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 when you get on the whiskey, just let somebody else drive. Hours is a long time to kill in a room full of drunks surrounded by steel. Hell's all they serve in a metro bar. So don't be drinking when you're driving your car. When you get on the whiskey,
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 when you get on the whiskey, let somebody else drive. When you get on the whiskey,
when you get